Alright everyone, we should be live! Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble as well, where we will unpause and repause. Of course, as usual. That's what I'm talking about. We've got a lot of news to cover today. We will be talking mainly, at first at least, about Tim Walz, because, this dude is toast politically. There's no reasonable possibility by which you could say that he would be reelected. He's running for reelection. I don't know why he would decide to do so, but yeah, in the end, he's just obsessed with power, I suppose, or something like that. Happens a lot in politics, by the way. So we'll be talking about Tim Walz. Could Tim Walz, swamped by Minnesota scandal, join the growing list of Democratic leaders facing charges or prison? The answer is no. He will not get reelected, I believe, but he will probably also not actually face any significant repercussions other than the loss of his political career as a result of his malfeasance. This happens, again, unfortunately, often within politics. There is nothing criminal, illegal, or alien about skin color. And we're going to finally cover that USA Today piece, actually. I had alluded to it briefly in the former live stream, but I wanted to cover it with more layers. We're going to peel them off like onions, because ogres are like onions. And this is definitely one hell of an ogre. China surrounds Taiwan with warships, fighter jets, and largest military drills on record. Live fire exercises follow $11.1 billion U.S. arms sale. We did also allude to this briefly in the previous live stream, but it bears a little bit more mentioning. And then oil tanker pursuit. This one is funny as hell. Keep in mind that this is nuts, what they're attempting to do at the moment. Oil tanker pursued by U.S. now has a Russian flag painted on its side. Yes, indeed, the oil tanker that the U.S. has unsuccessfully pursued, and I have no idea why they fucking couldn't run it down. It makes no sense to me. They painted a Russian flag on their side, so they're no longer a Venezuelan vessel. Now they're a Russian vessel. That's going to complicate things a little bit now, isn't it? We'll be getting into that because painting a flag on the side of your ship, of course, is not the same as flying a flag. The magical piece of fabric. The Trump administration's fight to fund scientists. Yes, indeed. This is actually hysterical when you think about it. Supposedly, the Trump administration is anti-science, but they're literally having to fight the judiciary system in order to actually fund science. All right, that makes a whole lot of sense. This is Mike. Clank, motherfuckers. In regards to an earlier video, elephants, African elephants, are capable of 25 miles an hour, much faster than most humans. They look slow and lumbering, but capable of much more. Yes, and you posted it twice. My apologies. Maybe you can get your second dollar back. Yes, you are correct. It's similar to alligators and crocodiles. At short distances, they can go very, very fast, actually. Normally, we see them as, basically little dinosaurs or something. Well, you don't want to take them for granted. If you happen to be in their swamp or something like that, you should see how fast they move when they power through with their tails in the water, by the way, including the larger ones. I've seen it before. I took a swamp tour. By the way, if you're ever in New Orleans, take the swamp tour. I highly, highly recommend it. If you have a hat on, you might want to grab onto it before the boat gets up to speed. Because you're going to be speeding down there at the speed of, a highway or something like that. It's much, much faster than I expected, actually. It was fun. And dude had crawdad traps. Crawdad, crayfish, crawfish, whatever you happen to call them. There's multiple iterations of this. He had some traps set up and actually was, handing the crayfish, as we would call them in New England, around. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's probably pretty tasty, too. I bet he sells them to Ralph's on the Park, actually. Crawfish bisque. Best food that I've ever had in my entire life. Just saying. I'm not even really a big fan of seafood most of the time. But with that, yeah, absolutely I would eat that again. It's like an 11 out of 10 on the food scale. So yeah, we'll be talking about Tim Walz first because this dude's gone crazy. At first, we heard, of course, this was days ago, we heard that there were hundreds of millions of dollars that were being squandered on centers in Minnesota. Actually, this is a few weeks ago, in fraud. We heard, a couple $100 million or something like that. We heard tales about daycare centers where they were overcharging effectively, or food centers where they were doing the same thing. And it was mostly related to the Somali community. And then this is not an isolated problem. We'll get into that too. But we heard, it's a few $100 million had been effectively embezzled from the state government, which means federal money as well, because they weren't actually serving the people that were supposedly being served. So let's say you have unlimited federal funds at your disposal, and you effectively, they never checked this apparently. This was at the federal level under the Biden administration. You say, well, we've got like 20,000 people being served every single day by this food center. Last Beacon, stop it. Otherwise, you'll have to be muted for 5 minutes. I'm really, really sorry about that. We were told that this was, basically an isolated thing. It wasn't really a big problem. It's only a couple $100 million, man. Man, can you please give me as much money as some Somalian running a food camp or something like that? Can I please have that money? I can probably use it better. I can grow a lot of tomatoes with that. I'll actually be serving poor people food. Can you imagine the garden you could grow with $100 million? This whole fucking piece of land, 2.5 acres, by the way. It would be nothing but goddamn tomatoes and peppers or something like that. Instead, it wasn't 20,000 people they were serving. It was like 20 people. All right, well, there's your waste, fraud, and abuse right there. It's the most naked example that I think we've seen probably in the nation's entire history. Then we were told, oh, no, it wasn't $100 million. Oh, how much was it? No, it was $2 billion. Oh, well, that's a little bit more meaningful now, isn't it? Now we're finding out that it's $9 billion. I still think we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg with regards to this case. I wouldn't be surprised if it was $100 billion or something like that. It wouldn't even surprise me. It should. It's wrong that it happened, but it literally would not surprise me. Tim Walz is cooked. This dude is, he probably will get reelected because he's basically bribed the entire Somali community within Minnesota. If you put the Somali community in cahoots with all of the, soft D liberals, he probably has the votes to carry it. They'll probably be crazy enough to reelect the Pillsbury Doughboy, the male feminist writ large, which is exactly, by the way, what he looks like. With the sad sack eyes and the pudgy belly, he looks exactly like a male feminist. He's basically the archetype of this at this point. Yeah. Yeah, Leon, lol, soft D. Yeah, soft D. I know, it's a little bit soft down there, my friend. I was looking at the story, even the initial reports, and this was several weeks ago, even the initial reports were damning. The next wave of reports is like, oh, well, shit, that escalated very quickly. Now, the new reports is like, yeah, it's escalated, it's more than one escalator, now you need 2 or 3 to actually achieve that summit. Tim Walz either looked the other way or oversaw this. I think it was a combination of both with regards to this fraud scandal. 9 billion, and this is in one state. Keep in mind, people currently are fixated on Minnesota for political reasons mainly. Republicans are fixated on this because Tim Walz, of course, he almost became the vice president of the United States. Thank goodness we dodged a bullet as good as Donald Trump did, by literally turning his head to look at a graph, actually, which is hysterical. But Tim Walz almost became vice president of the United States. He's currently the governor of Minnesota. Either he did not know this was going on, in which case he is massively inept, or he knew it was going on and he was getting his cut, so to speak. A few million here, a few million there, who's going to notice it? Or, point number 3, it could be both. He effectively didn't really realize that it was going on, but he was still getting money from the same groups in the first place. I have a feeling that number 3 is probably the option that I would choose. So he didn't, because he is inept, and that's pretty clear, he didn't know that it was going on, but he still benefited from it. He just didn't know where he was benefiting from, because he's a retard. Tim Walz is a fucking mental retard. He's a fucking retard. Absolutely. I don't think that even most Democrats would argue with that. By the way, Happy New Year's to everyone! Watch the explosions. It's fun. Anyway. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about Tim Walz first because this story has gotten so out of goddamn hand. It has gone so far beyond the pale. It's like, what the fuck am I even reading sometimes? Every day when I wake up, I'm like, oh, I wonder if there's a new story about Tim Walz. Otherwise, an individual that I wouldn't give a shit about one way or the other, but has managed to make himself become basically a household name simply because of his corruption and ineptitude. Well, I mean, you've succeeded. You've accomplished something. Yeah, absolutely. You've accomplished something. Everyone knows your name. It's just they don't know it for good reasons. Mesner Flux. Ahoy, matey. By the way, I have a story to tell about my pirate hat when I was in Price Chop earlier. Did you see that bill that would allow citizens to receive a letter of marque versus Venezuelan ships? Arr, we be sailing from Tortuga. Yeah, no, I know. We need to crowdfund a trawler, armor it up, put a deck gun or 2 on there, and go out, and we'll grab those we'll grab their fucking boats. Don't worry. I'm sure that we can accomplish it. Meisner Flux, one of the frequent commentators on the channel. I am going to devolve into William Shatner mode. I like doing that randomly. Taco Woman Sandy Ravage. I'm shucking a sack of oysters tonight. Oh, God, I'll talk about them too. Gonna charbroil half with an herb butter parm topping and eat the rest raw. Yum yum. Happy New Year's, Sticks. Let me tell you about oysters. I've had them 3 times in my life. Every single time I got sick. I managed to have snails once without getting sick. That was many years ago. The second time, oh boy, that was not the best night of my life. We'll put it that way. Yeah, when you can't choose whether you're supposed to vomit in the toilet or shit in the toilet because you're doing both uncontrollably, it hits a little bit different. It's like you're hunched over the toilet. You're shitting and vomiting at the same time. That was a bad night. It lasted for like 5 hours or something. Oysters, I have never been able to eat them and not puke. Or, shit myself, basically. I've never been able to do it. Honestly. I just can't. It's not that the flavor is terribly bad or anything like that. It tastes a little bit like mussels or something like that. It's just, I mean, whether it's properly served, like in a fine eating restaurant, or it's like the casual, sort of like the Red Lobster oysters, or whether it's canned, it literally makes no difference. I just can't eat them. I think I might be allergic. I'm not 100% sure. Briefcase Blues. Oysters are nasty as fuck no matter how they're prepared. See, I agree with you. I mean, I'm going to a fine dining restaurant where it's like 50 fucking bucks for a platter of oysters, and you still get sick from it. Either I'm allergic or oysters just fucking suck. The same is true of lobster, by the way. I was going to talk about that as well, because if you know the history of lobsters, it's actually fascinating. Originally, they were used as prison food, believe it or not. These days, rich people generally eat them. People that have means, they'll pay 25 bucks for a lobster tail. Boiled with some butter and some herbs, and maybe there's some potatoes on the side or something like that. They're paying $25 minimum for their meal. If it's fine dining, it's hundreds of dollars. So 25 is the low rent version of lobster. Originally, it was recommended actually, and this is in literature, from the US government itself. They used to have circulars that they put out. They don't really do this anymore. Now they make tweets more than anything else. Originally, it was meant as a prison food, actually. It's like, hey, this weird crustacean, you boil it, you put a little bit of butter in it, and basically, with a pinch of salt, it's edible. Yay! I'm sure that was a wonderful time to be imprisoned in the United States. They were getting gourmet meals like you would get on the Titanic, actually, which is hysterical to me. But I never understood lobster. I had it Asian style once, and I mean, that was a bit better, admittedly. I think that was the only one that was actionable, basically. When I had it at the Kong Chow, but the Kong Chow unfortunately no longer exists. But I had it at Red Lobster, I had it at Rex's, I had it at Ray's. I've had lobster a number of times. I've never liked it. I just don't understand it. What the fuck? Why are you paying so much food for something that's basically... Why don't you just get crawfish? Get a crawfish bisque at Ralph's on the Park. The Reaper 0101. Do you think your daughter misses you? Well, loaded question. I would like to talk to my daughter right now, actually. Right now I've got a live stream, though. You leave my personal things to me. Trust me, you do not want to eclipse me on strategy. It's not a good idea. Sigil, I wonder if Rusty Cage managed his goal of eating 500 oysters in a year. That wouldn't be that difficult. I mean, it's only a bite apiece, so, you could probably accomplish that. Tyler, get a crawfish bisque. That's what I'm talking about. Dude, Ralph's on the Park in New Orleans. Their crawfish bisque is the best food I have ever eaten in my entire life. And I've eaten some good food, trust me. I've cooked some good food too. But I don't know how the hell they make it, but it's fucking delicious. This is Mike. I have a theory that most people don't like a certain food because they just had a bad version of it, but I'm only basing that off of my own anecdotal evidence and discussions with friends. Sometimes that's true. Yeah, you'd be right. Mainly, you'd be right. But sometimes it's just something just disagrees with you. It doesn't matter how it's cooked. In my case, my body has trouble with oysters. Also with, what was it that I had, actually, that one time? Well, one time at a party I had watermelon, and I know that it wasn't responsible for any food poisoning. I know that it wasn't the watermelon, it was probably the chicken that I ate. But my body now rejects it. Like if I eat watermelon or even if I smell it, I get nauseous. It's not that it's responsible for the problem. It's just the way that it is with my physiology. My brain has been reprogrammed to believe that watermelon is bad for you. The other one, crab cakes. There was this one party. My dad was the head chef of the Mountain Creamery, and they had a Christmas party, actually. And they had all sorts of food and stuff like that. And one of the foods they had was crab cakes. I'm like, let me try a crab cake. It made me so sick, you have no idea. I was puking all over the place and shit like that. Now, it probably wasn't even the crab cake's fault. I'm not allergic to crab. I'm aware of that. Actually, I thought about buying some crab earlier today when I was in Price Chopper. They have some good crab, by the way. Price Chopper, Rutland, Vermont. Yeah, great store. You should go there. It's funny because somebody was remarking behind my back on how cool my hat looked. They're like, wow, Mom, look, it's a pirate. They didn't tell me, but I heard it, and it was funny. I love it when that happens. I like it when little kids, think that I'm an actual pirate, and so they're like, wow. I don't know, it just gives me a thrill. It's fucking funny. But anyway, I had crab cakes at this particular party. That was not a good idea. I don't know whether the crab cakes were, a little bit messed up, or whether my body was a little bit messed up, whatever. But my body now associates crab cakes with getting food poisoning. So, yeah. John Hoyle, 6390. Trump's meeting with Netanyahu focused entirely on Iran. Yeah, I saw that. It retarded. U.S. gave assurance for actions if needed. Do you think 2026 will see some form of Israeli action against Iran? Will it suck the U.S. in? The former, probably. The latter, maybe. Probably not. I don't think that the U.S. is going to get sucked into a war with Iran. I don't think that that's going to happen. By the way, I never took my vitamin this morning. I never took my mushroom pill this morning. We're going to talk about our sponsors, too, in just a moment. It happens all the time. Taking it with a tisane tea, that's the way to do it. Where is that mushroom pill? There we go. Ta-da! We'll be talking about cultivated mind in just a moment. That's what we're talking about. This is Mike. I have not heard of fucking Price Chopper since I left Rome, New York in 1993. Thanks for the memory. Yeah, I go to Price Chopper fairly often because they have considerably better deals on things like celery, onions, stuff like that. I like the base for soup and stuff like that. I have all of the 3 main ingredients for French-style soups at the moment. I also have tomatoes, although the tomatoes that I got were so tasteless, I'm probably not even going to eat them. And they were on the vine and everything like that. I figured, okay, they're on the vine. That means probably they have more taste. Also, they costed more. Nope, completely tasteless. It's like, I don't know, it's like a tomato briefly wandered through an ice cube, basically, more than anything else. Doesn't even taste as good as tomato juice. I'd rather use V8. Our local Price Chopper is actually really great. Although if you go to the Walmart Plaza, or any of the stores there, at night, you're gonna see some crazy shit. Just saying, Rutland can get a bit dicey. We are a gangsta sort of town. Just saying. Let's get to our sponsors before we get to the rest of the news, because we must. We have cultivated-mind.com. Just took one of their mushroom pills. They have mushroom pills. They will energize you, invigorate you, and lead to, apparently, the reversal of gray hairs. That's a story that I can tell a different time, but I will vouch for them. I don't know what the fuck they put in the mushroom pills other than the mushroom extracts, but it seems to work. Also, you get doggy dose. I call it doggo dose. Double extracted 6 mushrooms. Yes, indeed, that are used in these particular little doggo biscuits. Doggos love them. Cats apparently love them too. So you should probably have, I think they should release some cat biscuits or something like that. It'd probably be a good idea. We have BiltongUSA.com. Use code STICKS for 10% off. When you go to Biltong USA, you can get various imports, including biltong, of course, which I'm eating now. And it is fucking delicious. You can put this in a beef stew. You can use that as a thickening agent. Tastes nice and beefy. Bovrite is amazing. You can also put it on toast, or you can just eat it straight out of the bottle like I tend to do. Also, we got Sticks, X, and Hammer mugs, tumblers, and shirts available. And, of course, Anton's meat collection. Yeah, he's got thousands of pounds of meat probably right now, waiting on the rack, ready to be processed. We've got Wagyu, both from Japan and the US, by the way. There is Cabanassi. There is Angus. There is venison. There is bison. And Drywoers, which I think is some sort of beef, spiced beef of some sort, among other things as well available too. And finally, we've got jamandbean.com. Thank you for giving me an excuse to sniff that. jamnbean.com. Where you can get Clanker coffee, various teas. Other coffees are also available. If you want a tisane, like an herbal tea like this, they've got that available too. Some of it is caffeinated, so that's more like a morning or lunch drink. And some of it, more like this, is more like what you would have in the afternoon or evening. Yeah, the green tea is more for later in the day. The black tea is more for earlier in the day. Just saying. Haha, Sith, there is no regular time for sticks. True. Let's see. But those are our sponsors. Don't worry, we'll get to more news. I'm just looking through and seeing if I have any other chats here. Sometimes they go too fast and I can't keep up with them. Skate Betty. Jello Biafra's band Lard has a song about government listening to a guy through his dental work. I forgot the name. Lol. Grok probably can hook you up with that. By the way, to everyone out there, I would strongly recommend using Twitter's Grok as a search engine. It is so much better than Google in every goddamn way. I would never have found the Classiques Nouveau song from, I think it was 82 or 83. I would never have found that with Google. Grok, 2 prompts in? Yeah, here's the song that you're thinking of. I mean, I just hummed the tune, basically, and said, hey, there was an 80s song that kind of went along with this. Can you find it? It took 2 prompts in order to find it. It took like 10 seconds, dude. Grok is great. Parlock, my brother made some good banana bread. Oh, I love banana bread. My mom makes good banana bread. It has to be moist. It has to be, succulent. A succulent Chinese meal? Gentlemen. FB, Gilligan heard radio through his teeth too. Oh, I remember that episode. Yeah, there was that one where Gilligan, I think the professor gave him didn't he give him implants into his teeth? Sort of like braces. And all of a sudden he was hearing radio transmissions. I think I remember that one. I've seen every episode of Gilligan's Island. My favorite one, well, actually, I shouldn't even talk about having a favorite one because I liked them all. One of them, Gilligan was going fishing and he accidentally brought in a mine, a sea mine, actually, into the lagoon. And they were trying to figure out what to do with it. And the skipper's like, "What the fuck did you do?" Basically, it was funny. It was funny as hell. And then another one, there was, like, I can't remember exactly, there was some radioactive source there. And then they were painting themselves with lead to deflect the radiation. And so they were walking around, like, looking like robots and stuff like that. And another one, they had what was called spider cider. And this actually worked its way into some of my literature, both morbid stories and an earlier work that was literally entailed within Bilo the Gugal. I'll tell the story in a moment. But the idea of spider cider, getting a giant spider drunk, basically, because, it was, crazy and attacking everyone. But they got it drunk, and then it just goes back into its cave and, I don't know, dies, I guess, or something like that. I worked this into a book that I wrote many, many years ago. This is probably like 15 years or something like that. And actually, let me look that up. Let me try to find it. I'll release it publicly. I mean, it's not gonna sell any copies now anyway because it's so old. Let me try to find it. Just give me a moment, please, if I might. Was it under E for Inbila the Gugao? It's a band. I think that the main singer probably died. He had had a heart attack, and he was sort of messed up. I feel that it's likely that he dies in the end. Well, I'll figure it out later. I'll try to find it. I will get the PDF file of that, and I will release that. But it was basically a joke book. It was based on the band, which was basically one dude anyway. And it was meant to be, facetious, funny. And it was hysterical. By the way, I had a great time writing it. But one of the sections was called Spider Cider. And spider cider was the idea that you took a bunch of spiders after, you would leave fermenting fruit and meat around. Flies would proliferate. Spiders would therefore proliferate. Then eventually you took the spiders, wrapped them up in their own webs, squeezed them out, and then you brewed them into a crude sort of drink, basically. Parlock. Are there any bands you like whose politics suck? Depeche Mode, my favorite band. The Eurythmics. Plenty of them. Most of them, actually. Morrissey, I agree with his politics more or less. Morrissey seems to be with it. I think the Psychedelic Furs actually are with it as well. My favorite song is by MGMT. And also, I think Billy Idol is definitely on the list, but he has weird political beliefs. I don't think he has really any political beliefs, particularly at all. Spiritual beliefs, though, yeah, I can jive with that. Billy Idol is certified cool. Yeah, there was a section. I wish that I could find it. I wish I could find this. Come on, dude. Come on, man. Corn Pop was a bad dude. I know that it's here. That's the whole point. Let me... Oh, yes, it's a book of Say Goetan. This was a joke from the Inbila era. Here, let me try to... Where can I post it publicly? Just give me a second. Give me a fucking second to do this. No, I don't need Vimeo because nobody needs that. I'm going to try to do this. Just give me a moment. I don't want to continue with my Google account. You think I want to link that from some retard forum? Yeah, we're gonna have to use a different one. And I don't want to start a free trial because I do not give a shit about that. Alright. Okay. Here we go. Give me a moment, everyone. Please. It happens all the time. Also, I don't know why it's going to that file. Okay. There we go. Book of Saguatan. Is it under S for Saguatan? Fucking retarded. This happens all the time, by the way. You don't understand how difficult it can be to be a content creator. Sometimes you don't know what the fuck is going on. There we go. Okay. Excellent. Yeah, I haven't read this in a while myself. Wait, how am I supposed to, there we go. Alright, so this will be active for 6 days. You do not have to buy this book. You can simply download it. Which is what I want. I've posted on both sites, so, you can see it. King of Biltong! Oh, we wish every clanker a happy new year. May you hit 2026 out of park. If you are kicking off your health journey, yeah, starting 2026, try some Biltong from BiltongUSA.com. Use code STICKS for 10% off. You can also get some Bovrite. Trust me, it's a good idea. Oh, damn, that's good. He says too salty. There's almost no salt in this. It's yeast extract. It's like Vegemite. But the South Africans managed to make it 10,000 times better than the ones made by the British or by the Australians. Salty! Ha ha ha! Says King of Biltong. Coming, I'm gonna steal all your Bovrite. Festivus, Ghost Gate, and traffic music. This is why I love live streaming, because people say like the weirdest shit, and I enjoy it, actually. Yeah, for Parlock, I would say the, Taco Woman Sandy Ravage. Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine has a line of signature Fender guitars with a hammer and sickle sticker on them, selling for almost $2,000. Doesn't surprise me. Not even in the least. I will say the one song that everyone knows from Rage Against the Machine is pretty good. Everything else fucking sucks and nobody gives a shit. They consider themselves and conceive of themselves as important. In the meantime, nobody really gives a shit about anything other than their lead song. Nobody cares. Ha! It's pretty funny. So yeah, we'll talk. Tim Walz is done. Whatever. There is nothing criminal, illegal, or alien about skin color. This is an opinion piece from the USA Today. I wanted to weigh in on this really briefly. And I do mean briefly, because today I just kind of want to ban stream. It's New Year's Day. Nobody gives a fuck about the news. Let's just keep it real here. And tomorrow everyone will be hungover, so I'll have the hangover stream, I suppose. No, there's nothing illegal about being brown-skinned. Absolutely. No. Ethnic women are fucking hot, actually. But nobody is profiling you. That's just not happening. Under the Trump administration, supposedly there's a lot of racial profiling. But the thing is, that's not actually happening at all. Under the Biden administration, the same protocols effectively were being followed. They just were followed more sporadically. Well, if you up it 10 times, the number of people that you're querying is going to go up 10 times, right? It doesn't matter what skin color they are. Only if another crime is being committed commensurate with it is there any querying at all. It's just that the former administration never did that, now did they? So yeah, naturally, of course, there are going to be more people queried, and some of these people are going to be, they're going to be brown people, BIPOC, as the liberals would call them, or black, or something like that. And that doesn't mean that they're being queried specifically because of their skin color. It means that they're simply being queried. There was no attempt to do this before. It never existed. It didn't matter whether you were as white as snow or whether you were blacker than coal. It made absolutely no difference. Nobody was going to ask you any questions because the administration prior did not care whether you were illegally in the United States. They just didn't care. We can see this. It will happen again. SC Woods, Happy New Year 2026 to all clankers, and especially to the clanker-in-chief. Thank you very much. And then Sean Mares is there. Brazilian women in Long Beach, California have opened a daycare with no kids. I went inside in 9 months. Should be at least 6 kids by then. Hey, if you're fucking Brazilian women, there's nothing like, yeah, go ahead, my man. That's actually funny. Make sure that you name one of the kids something clanker related. That's all I ask for. That would be the funniest thing in goddamn earth. If you have a son, name him Arthur, in my name. Had I had a son, I had a daughter. I'm not going to tell her name before the entire public, for obvious privacy reasons. If I had had a son, I would have named him Arthur. After King Arthur, of course. Just saying. So yeah, if you fucked a bunch of Brazilian women and managed to have a son, please call him Arthur. This is Mike. I heard through the grapevine that Brazilian women are losing their big booties because they aren't walking up and down the hills as much anymore. Damn. That sucks. Oh, I missed FB's last rant. Sorry, FB. I apologize. Check spent the day in bed by Morrissey. Yeah, Morrissey does it best. He actually was posting some of my videos on his own personal website at one point. I don't know if he still does, but it happened at least on 3 different occasions. I find that funny. But yeah, if you happen to impregnate a Brazilian woman, if you have a son, please call them Arthur. That's pretty cool, actually. Arthur's a good name. I do not believe in Judeo-Christian names. My daughter does not have one. She has a pagan name. I will not say what name that is for privacy reasons. But she is named after a pagan goddess, because she is a little goddess. If you're going to have a boy, I mean, you can name him Alexander, after Alexander the Great. That's a pagan name. Arthur, a heraldic name, and so forth. And, you go on from there. Shung Marais, me and your daughter have the same birthday. I don't think I've ever announced my daughter's birthday. It's in April. Sith, for the love of all that is holy, there is nothing that is holy. Don't call it a Judeo-Christian name. Well, anything that is heralded in Judeo-Christian mythology, which is what it is, it's a mythology, it's not real, would be a Judeo-Christian name. Arthur is an Anglo-Saxon pagan name, effectively. I believe in pagan names for children. I do not believe in Judeo-Christian names. My daughter's name is absolutely pagan in every way, shape, and form. And I'm very, very proud of that name. I wish that I could tell you what the name was, because it is fundamentally beautiful. But I cannot do that, because I believe in her right to be private. Should she choose, in the future, to decide to make content or be public or something like that, that's her choice. She can do that if she wants. I would not stop her. But she has to be old enough to be able to make that choice, so to speak. I do not believe that small children... I hate it. One thing that I hate most of all, when, grown-ass adults, they drag their kids onto camera with them and have, like, a festival of some sort. And it's like, hey, here's our Thanksgiving meal. Let me record everything instead of actually enjoying it. I don't understand it. I don't get it at all. It used to be, back in the night, back when I was young, it used to be you get together with your family on Thanksgiving, on Christmas, whatever it happens to be, and you have a nice meal or something like that. Maybe gifts are exchanged. Maybe you just party with your relatives and stuff. It's a personal, sort of private thing. Why do you feel the need to take this and make it public? I mean, it's fun. I realize. There are some people, for instance, today, on New Year's, and I will be here, by the way. There are some people that don't have anyone to share New Year's with. Okay, that's different. But when children are involved, that's a little bit different too now, isn't it? Eric Senia, no such thing as God, grow up fool. I'm well aware of the fact that I am God. Yes, I'm well aware of the fact that the God that is worshipped by most people does not exist. Pseudonoid, Styx's daughter's name is probably Sophia. Nope, you're wrong. That is not her name. Although that is a good name, honestly. Actually, I think that was on the suggestion list. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. Oh, it was fucking hilarious. One day before my daughter was born, her middle name was almost optioned as her main name by my now ex-wife. And literally everyone told her that that was a bad idea. They liked the one that I had chosen far better. So she has a cool middle name too. She's got like the best name you could possibly goddamn imagine. I just won't give it to anyone in public. Not interested. I would much rather her be private. If she chooses to be a public persona, that's perfectly fine. I think that that's a great idea. She's obviously intelligent. I mean, I've seen enough to know that she's high functioning, so to speak. But her name does not need to be known in public unless she chooses to make it public. That is her choice, not mine. Grand Theft King, give the initials. No, I will not do that either. Nope, you're not gonna know anything about my daughter unless she decides to let you know it herself. It is not my choice. I do not have the right to make my daughter known to the public. I hate it when people they go off the reservation and start talking about their kids. Oh, look at how cute my kid is. Okay. But now everyone knows their name. I mean, they could get bullied. They could get targeted. Somebody could come and deliberately try to hijack them, literally lift them off and kidnap them or something like that. I don't want anyone to know my fucking daughter's name. Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, Ian Angel. Medusa Lilith Warwick. Yeah, okay. Will Gooding. Happy New Year, Sticks and Clankers. So happy, proud, and blessed to be a part of a big spoony family. Clank. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, let's get on with the news. We gotta talk about ICE here. There is nothing criminal, illegal, or alien about skin color. Yeah, fuck you. Nobody cares about USA Today at all anyway. When's the last time, can I ask this? Have you ever even purchased a copy of the USA Today? I never have. In fact, I don't even think my family has, and they were buying newspapers since, I was born in the late 1980s. I don't remember them ever purchasing a copy of the USA Today. I don't know. Shangmanes, my twins, Ratanache, Ton is the boy, and the girl is Aveline. My youngest son is Kiskawase. They are still in my balls. Well, do whatever you need to do, my dude. Interesting. Cool names, though. This is Mike. I used to take the USA Today in my hotels just to do the crossword puzzle, but that was about it. Yeah, that's about all. Also the, ow, God, that hurts. Also the cartoons, but then you can get those online too, so it really doesn't make a huge difference. I personally prefer meme cartoons. So it's not the original cartoon, it's been, AI rendered or something like that. It's more fun. I've done that many times. China surrounds Taiwan with warships, fighter jets, and largest military drills on record. I wanted to tell something to people here. China is attempting to look, it's basically a Sun Tzu strategy. China is attempting to look strong while it is actually weak. This is exactly what you're supposed to do in warfare. They will surround Taiwan, and they will, randomly fire off rockets and deck guns and stuff like that. But in the end, they're not actually doing anything to Taiwan now, are they? They're just expending ammunition. They're doing this for show. And they're doing this because they want the West to believe that they are in a pole position, so to speak. That they can, belly up to the bar, so to speak. But this is not actually the case. The real case is that China is weak right now. They are basically the sick man of Asia, you could say. Now, I know this terminology was used for the Ottoman Empire, the sick man of Europe sort of thing, way back in the day. This was hundreds of years ago. They were called the sick man of Europe because while they had all this land and potential resources, their system just didn't work. it didn't make any sense anymore. You rule everything from Turkey down to parts of Arabia and Egypt, but you're not doing anything with it. It makes absolutely no sense. This is basically the same case with China. Yeah, you now rule over Tibet. Manchuria has been consolidated. You are trying to gun for Taiwan, and you're administering colonialism in Eastern Africa. But ultimately, the infrastructure you're creating is half-assed. You don't have any particular military advantage over the West, etc., etc., etc. Their military drills, I mean, think about this. This is Taiwan. It's a small island. It would be a sovereign nation, but in other terms, it's basically just an island not much larger than like Vermont and New Hampshire combined. That's not a large area, so to speak. In fact, I don't even know it would be as large as Vermont and New Hampshire combined. China has to surround it and spend billions of dollars just to fire off random rockets in a show of force. This does not show strength. This shows weakness, rather. But a lot of people won't understand that. They'll think, oh my god, China's going to invade Taiwan. Well, considering the number of ATACMs we've just shipped to Taiwan successfully, I don't think that's actually going to happen. Personally, if I could do anything that I could to help the Taiwanese people, it would be to airdrop about 1 billion small arms to them. Handguns, rifles, everything else, along with trillions of rounds of ammunition. You'll have to pay us for it, but, you know, we can supply it if you need them. It would be easy. We could supply the entire population with a militia structure if so needed. It wouldn't even be that difficult. I mean, we could do this in a weekend, basically. Unfortunately, the U.S. military has not thought about doing so. In lieu of this, though, when you have, I believe, 400 anti-ship missiles and several thousand anti-air systems, in addition to the military that you already had to begin with, that'll probably work. I thought it was funny because China was complaining the other day, like, oh, this is a provocation. It's not a provocation. You literally surrounded the island and conducted war games around it. I think that's a little bit more of a provocation. Shove your propaganda up your fucking ass. That's what I would talk about to the Chinese. I don't even dislike China. Chinese food is pretty good. But you got some problems, dude. Oh yeah, and then we have, oh god. Give me a moment before I talk about this story, please. Because it's so goddamn hilarious. Oh man. I wish I was high on weed at the moment. Then I'd be laughing even harder. Yeah, believe it or not, your own favorite Styx has totally never used this substance. I am actually sober at the moment. This is just tea. Haven't used any weed today. When an oil tanker being pursued by the U.S. Navy paints a Russian flag on its side, despite the fact that it's clearly from fucking Venezuela, this is fucking hilarious. They're trying to avoid capture by flagging themselves as a Russian vessel now. This is real. It's right here. And link in the description. This is from CNN Politics, of all places. Now, normally they wouldn't admit to such a thing, actually. They are on Team Venezuela, I'm sure, considering the people that are actually hired there. Crew members aboard the aging, rusted oil tanker that the U.S. has been pursuing at sea for nearly 2 weeks appear to have painted a crude image of a Russian flag on the ship's hull, which American officials believe is an attempt at claiming Russian protection. This was spotted by the Coast Guard, by the way, not even by the U.S. Navy. Yeah, this is insane, honestly. You're trying to evade capture by flagging yourself as a bunch of Russians. Everyone knows where your tanker is from. I mean, you're being tracked the whole time. The only question that I have, why is it that the U.S. Navy and Coast Guard were unable to hunt down an oil vessel quicker? Why has this been out in international waters for 2 weeks? That's the only question that I have to ask. What's wrong with you? It doesn't even make any sense. I don't even understand this. At any rate, honestly, well, I guess either the Venezuelans are much better at naval maneuvers than I expected, or the U.S. military is much worse at naval maneuvers than I expected. One of these two things has to be true. 2 fucking weeks? It's a goddamn oil tanker. Fucking board it and fucking take it over. That's all you have to do. God, a couple of Coast Guard cutters could probably take care of this issue, let alone the naval assets that we've got in the Caribbean. But apparently nobody thought of this. I don't even know what they're talking about at this point. SC Woods, Taiwan is about 1.5 times bigger than Vermont. Okay, so it would be a little bit smaller than Vermont and New Hampshire combined. Thank you for that. This is Mike. Painting a shitty version of the Russian flag on your ship is like misspelling the word learning on your childcare center. Oh my god. Yeah. That scandal in Minnesota that we talked about briefly earlier, they couldn't even spell learning on Learning Center. This is actually real. They left out the N accidentally. So is the Leering Center. I mean, I'm sure they were doing that too. There's probably a lot of child molestation, assuming any children are in these centers to begin with. But, yeah, they couldn't even spell the word right. I mean, at some point, you gotta shake your head and be like, you gotta be shitting me. You know, somebody gets in trouble for jaywalking and gets the book thrown at them, and then meanwhile, you've got a governor who doesn't understand that hundreds of millions, possibly billions of dollars are going to these sorts of centers, even though they can't even spell learning. Your kid's going to learn a lot there. They're going to leer a lot there because they're not allowed to learn, apparently. I mean, this is completely nonsensical. The entire situation is so far beyond nonsensical, I couldn't even believe it. I didn't believe the story when I first saw it. Several people sent it to me. I'm like, okay, this can't possibly be real. My dad relates it to me as well, because he keeps up with the news. And I was looking at the story, and then I was like, okay, I need to go knock myself out or something. I need to punch myself in the head until I can't wake up, because this is too much. It was that bad. And then we've got this fucking oil tanker. They're trying to fucking flag it as a Russian vessel? Or something like that? It's not gonna work, dude. Bill McSwain, Happy New Year, brother. I hope this helps. Thank you very much. Yes, it does help. That'll pay for a succulent Chinese meal. Celestial, I'll keep calling her Princess Twig. Yes, my daughter's name will never be publicly announced until she is old enough to decide whether she wishes to do so or not. It is her choice. It is nobody else's. Will Gooding. Hi, Will Gooding. Oh, Happy New Year, Sticks and Clankers. So happy, proud, and blessed to be a part of our big spoony family. Clank. Oh, by the way. Oh, this was another thing that I wanted to talk about. And it was fucking funny as hell. Do you know what the parent company of StreamYard is? Which just absorbed the company. I mean, I'm streaming right now on StreamYard. but it's no longer technically StreamYard. What the fuck do you think is involved with the name of the company? I'll give you a moment. Oh god, it's funny as fuck. Yeah, it's called Bending Spoons. That's the name of the parent company. It's a Matrix reference, I assume. Bending Spoons. Yep. That's the name of the parent company that has just reabsorbed its prior child company, which is StreamYard, the one that I use to stream every single day. Rindula Mike. Sticks, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. Speaking of weed and such, being a garden guy, what's your take on planting wild and perennial nutrition like purslane and Good King Henry? With purslane, I don't have to do anything because it grows anyway in the garden. It's all over the place here. This is the perfect climate for it, apparently. And it is delicious in small amounts. When you make a salad, like I'm going to make later, a little bit of purslane is really great on it. We also have lamb's quarter. We have mullein and all sorts of other plants that most people, they don't think anything about. They don't even understand they're edible or herbal in nature. They don't know anything about them. I was surprised when I found that half of the, what I called weeds when I was a kid that were growing in the backyard, actually they have some edible purpose or they have some medicinal purpose. I was surprised at this until I learned about botany. I was Botany 101 for a reason. But yeah, I've eaten purslane before. Oh, it's delicious. You have to harvest it, though, at the right time. Pro tip to everyone out there. Purslane is delicious, but if you don't harvest it at the right time of day, it ain't going to be delicious. It's either going to taste really, really bitter if you harvest it at the wrong time, or it's going to taste fairly succulent. And what would I compare it to? Lamb's quarter is more like spinach. What would I compare purslane to? I don't know. It's like a sweeter, more succulent version of maybe some cruciferous vegetable. And I believe it is a crucifer, actually. So maybe like a sweeter, better version of kale or something? I don't know. There's nothing to compare it to. That's the problem. But it is good. Is elderberry toxic if eaten directly from the bush? I do not believe, Oscar Gonzalez, that it is actually inedible directly. But I think that most of the time people cook it off. They mostly turn it into a jam, actually. Ah, yeah. Girl of the Valley, you are correct. I'm going to rip it out of the cracks of the sidewalk. Also, dandelion is good. Yes, dandelion greens in spring. If you mix that with a ranch dressing, amazing. Yeah, dandelions, you gotta understand, most of the plants that you see around you are edible. Spruce, for example. Spruce spines, they're actually edible too. You can make beer with them, actually, in lieu of hops, believe it or not. You can also make a tea with them, so spruce is edible. White pine, the sap from the tree, that's edible as well. I mean, you're not getting any caloric content or anything like that. It just happens to taste nice. You can also use it to flavor other foods. Most of the mushrooms that you see in the woods, most of them are edible too. People ignore them because they think every mushroom is poisonous. All you have to do is have a basic encyclopedic knowledge of fungi, and it's really, really easy. I've gathered wild mushrooms before, cut them up, sauteed them, and eaten them, especially fairy ring mushrooms. They taste almost exactly like a shiitake mushroom, by the way. This happens all the time. I mean, people ignore I don't even know. I don't even know the tonnage that would be involved with just a small state like Vermont with regards to the food that goes to waste every year because nobody gathers it. Berries. I remember one time, actually, there are two stories actually involved with this. One time I was in Woodstock and I was gathering berries behind the school, and a teacher told me to stop. They were worried that I'd be poisoned or something like that. I'm like, look, these are fucking, they're edible. I'm sure that they're edible. I've been eating them this whole time. Yeah, but they didn't believe me, so they told me to stop. And so, I was like, I don't want to be punished or something like that. Another time, when I was in Wilder, there was a huge, huge grapevine behind the edge of the fence that went around the school, and I was like, oh, I can eat these. They're berries. They're grapes, literally. I think Concord grapes, probably. And they told me to stop. I'm like, these are grapes. You fucking retard. I know the difference between grapes and some sort of fucking poisonous berry. You are just retarded. You don't know the difference. I happen to. I'm smarter than you because you're a retard. I like to think that my IQ is at least in the digit range. Yours is apparently 50 or something like that. And so eventually they relented because they're like, oh, yeah, those are grapes. No shit, Sherlock. I already told you this. I know more about botany than any of you, and I'm like fucking 10 years old. It was a very, very fun time. Anyway, I'm going to go offline. Oh, artichokes. Yeah, those are amazing. Artichokes are one of the most underrated foods, by the way, in the entire world. Anyways, I'm going to go offline now. I've got to do a little bit of docketing. I do have some things in the docket already. I've got about half a dozen, actually. So, tomorrow is already set up, but I have to do a little more stuff. I have to do, actually, some music and other things, too. The Quartering gets $7,000 a month from Israel to attack Candace. By Shung Manes. Send me a DM on Twitter. If you've got evidence of that, then I would be willing to look at it. But I'm not going to attack the Quartering because he did pay my bond. So, he's good in my books. As far as I go, I'm not going to attack Jeremy. If he's done something like that, then I'll look into it, basically. User NN3NN. I'm glad you're smart. I don't want to watch your live streams if you're not smart. Yeah, I know. There are some people out there that are dumbasses. Look at Destiny, for example. Or, all of the retards from the, from the Commie Guild. Like Vaush, the bread tubers. Anyways, I'm going to end this stream now. I'm going to try to docket a couple of things. I've got enough for a day, but I don't really have enough for another live stream, so I'm going to have to stack them. This happens all the time, by the way. If you're a live streamer, sometimes, if you're making one-off videos and live streams, sometimes it becomes a problem. Because you'll have like 9 or 10 really good news stories. Then you have to parse them. You have to figure out which ones you're going to do live, which ones you're going to do as one-offs, and which ones, in some cases, actually carry over between the two. It's a little bit harder than most people actually expect. A lot of people, in fact, much of the youth of today, want to be live streamers. They want to do vlogging and stuff like that. That's their, it used to be astronauts. Now it's live streaming is the main job that they want to be part of. I would warn you against it. I think that this is a bad idea. you will find yourself working a lot harder than you ever thought of. I work about 70 hours a week between the compilations, the tagging, the actual making of videos, the live streams, and also the books, of course, because you can't survive on vlogging alone at this point anyway. Yeah, it's about 70 hours a week. Yeah, that's my work schedule. I work about 10 hours a day. But I'm not complaining though, because at least I am my own boss. If I do want to sleep in, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, adios, crazy Walz. Yeah, he's on his way out, dude. There's no possibility he survives this politically. It's impossible. Nobody can survive it politically. Not considering how he's deeper than Artax in the swamp of despair, so to speak. Yeah, baby. Shungman Sticks, did you get my letter in the mail? I think that it just came, but I haven't opened it yet. And of course, I don't know if there's anything personal in there, so I will open it off of the stream. But yeah, that's a good thing. That's about all. Peace.